Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirsty, and in today's video, I'm bringing you two really delicious casserole dishes. Hi y'all, so tonight for dinner we are having Cowboy Casserole. So I want to quickly just go through and tell you the ingredients. I'll probably be more specific, like especially with the spices, when we're putting them in the dish on how much you're going to need. But you are going to need 2 pounds of ground beef. You're going to need some salt, garlic powder, chili powder, ground cumin, and black pepper. We're going to dice up this yellow onion. You're going to need 1.5 cups of beef broth, 1 can of diced tomatoes, or you can use crushed tomatoes. It's a 14.5 ounce can. We're going to need about 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. I think it's 1/4 cup of this sour cream. We're probably going to use this entire bag of cheddar cheese, and then 1 32-ounce bag of tater tots. So to get this started, we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Alright, so now while that's heating up, let's go ahead and get started on the ground beef. I have my ground beef here in the skillet, and I'm just going to kind of break it up, and we're going to let it sit here and cook. And then once it's close to being done cooking, I'll add our spices. While we wait on the ground beef to brown up, we can go ahead and dice up our onion. I'm also going to chop up this green onion. This I'm just going to use for garnish on the top of the casserole once it's done. So of course this is optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Our ground beef is about halfway done. It's about halfway brown. So I'm going to go ahead and add in our yellow onion. We're going to let that cook down until it gets soft and translucent, and then we're also going to add in our spices. And the measurements for the spices are 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. We're just going to stir that all together, and then we're just going to wait until the ground beef is completely cooked through and the onions have cooked down and are a little translucent. I've let this cook for about 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of frozen corn, and our can of diced tomatoes, and I'm not draining this. And then we're just going to give it a stir, and we're going to let this simmer for probably about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll do the next step. I almost forgot, but you're also going to want to add in your 1.5 cups of beef broth when you add in the tomatoes and corn. That's been simmering on the stove for a little while, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with my cornstarch. You're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, and then to this cornstarch we're going to add 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to turn my heat down to about a medium to low. We're going to add in our cornstarch. Going to stir that around, and we're just going to let this simmer again until it's thickened up. We've let that simmer and thicken up for a little bit, so now I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of sour cream. And then about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. And then we're going to stir that together until that cheese is melted. It's now time to start assembling our casserole dish. So to my 9x13 pan, I'm just going to lightly spray it with some nonstick cooking spray. And then we're going to add in some tater tots on the bottom. Not the whole bag. Probably about half. We're just going to lay those out evenly on an even layer. We'll make the top layer pretty. And then we're going to take our beef mixture. We're just going to spread that out. And then we're going to add the rest of our tater tots to the top. After you get your tater tots all layered on the top, you're going to put this in the oven uncovered for 25 minutes. Then you're going to take it out, add the remainder of your cheese on top, and then bake for another 10 minutes. And this is what we're having for dinner tonight. Cowboy Tater Tot Casserole. So tonight for dinner, we are having a chicken pot pie casserole. So let me show you what you're gonna need. You're gonna need about 3 to 4 chicken breasts. Probably just depends on how big your chicken breasts are. 1 medium bag of frozen mixed vegetables. 2 cans of cream of chicken. 2 cans of crescent rolls. Some salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning. And then you're going to need a stick of butter and some minced garlic, because we're going to melt that and make garlic butter, and we're going to brush it on the top of the casserole. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up this chicken into little bite-sized pieces, and we're going to cook it fully in the pan. After you get your chicken in your skillet, mine's been cooking for a few minutes here. You can see some of it's kind of turning white. I'm going to go ahead and season it with some salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning. I don't really have an exact measurement on how much I put in here. I probably put like half a teaspoon of salt, probably 1 tablespoon of pepper, and probably about another tablespoon of this Italian seasoning. Then we're just going to stir it together. Our chicken is finished, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. And I'm actually going to go ahead and drain some of this liquid off too. I feel like it's a little bit too much to put in the casserole. But before I do that, we want to go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And what you do is you just want to read on the package of your crescent rolls and preheat your oven to what it tells you to preheat on there. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to add in our chicken. We're going to add in this whole bag of mixed vegetables. And then our 2 cans of cream of chicken. And then you're just going to give it a big stir. After you get that mixture all stirred up, you're just going to want to take your 9x13 pan and spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. Take your first can of crescent rolls. We're just going to unroll it just like this. And we're just going to lay it on the bottom and kind of up on the side. And see, this one kind of a lot, so we're going to go ahead and tear it right there. Have that one up on the side. And these, just going to kind of place up here on the sides. It's not even, but it'll taste good. And then I'm going to put this one on this side. And so now we're going to pour in our mixture. Then take our second roll of crescent doughs, or crescent rolls. Oh, that broke apart. And we're just going to layer it on top. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just kind of want it on the top. Going to place this in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. And I will let you know, if you start to feel like the top of the crescent rolls are browning quicker than your whole casserole is cooking, you can always just put a piece of foil on top to help it from burning. So just keep a really close eye on it. I will let y'all know that mine did take longer than 30 minutes to cook. I did have to put foil on the top, and I don't know if it's because my pan is kind of a deep pan, and so the middle is kind of thick, and so I had to cook mine for probably another 20 to 25 minutes with the foil on top. So if you use a pan like mine, just take that into consideration. And this is what we're having for dinner tonight. Homemade chicken pot pie casserole. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen this week. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new. And let me know down in the comments which recipe you're most excited to make. Bye!